Right, so I do want to let you know just right off the bat that today's build is not hard meta, but it's fun, it's enjoyable, and dare I say, just a good time to use on your hunter. And if there's one thing that hunters need right now, it's a little bit of variety and a little bit of fun in that variety. So let me just show you what this build can do, or one of the things that it can do. So first of all, I want you to pay attention to my super bar. I'm gonna let it tick down just a little bit here, but now look at me getting kills and look at the super bar. All the way back to the top, and I haven't lost any bullets of my golden gun, and then I can carry on. And I could just repeat that over and over again if I want to. My super goes all the way back to the top, no diminishing returns whatsoever. That's just one facet of this build, which I class as, pretty fun. And that is essentially what I want to create with today's build. There have been some pretty substantial changes to Solar Hunter. Obviously, today's build is going to be about Solar Hunter, spoilers, and it's mainly to do with the on your mark aspect and the changes that have been made to Golden Gun Deadshot, specifically the Deadshot variant. Because this aspect is low-key like a Solar Devour now for Solar Hunters, which is pretty good. I'm going to show you guys how this works now if you haven't seen it in action already, plus the changes made to Deadshot and a bunch of other fragments and all this and all that. So essentially what we're going to be doing today is combining all of these new subclass changes with some pretty strong primaries like Agape and Min Retrograde, some good stats. We're going to be using Lucky Pants as well to sort of min-max our weapons and abilities, combine them all together into a build that I believe is very fun. And if you're just wanting to try something different other than Prismatic or Arc, or that's about it as far as hunter builds go in terms of variety, then you will very much enjoy today's build. So quickly going back to what was happening at the start, we are of course taking the Deadshot Golden Gun as our super of choice. Now this super has been changed in a couple ways. The first is that it now states final blows with this weapon refund a Golden Gun round and extend your super duration. The way this used to work was that it would give you rounds back if you ignited targets, and you would have to combine it with Ember of Combustion, where final blows with solar supers cause your targets to ignite. The only way that you would get bullets back with Deadshot is if you ran Ember of Combustion at the same time. You no longer have to. The only reason we have it on this build is just because it helps with the super's overall lethality, but you don't need it anymore. The super itself just refunds the bullets, and it also extends the duration of your super, which is something that it didn't used to do. And as of right now, there are no diminishing returns on the super energy that you get back. So whether that's a bug or not, I don't know, but as long as there are kills to be had, you will essentially never run out of super, because you can just keep killing, keep refreshing your duration all the way to the top, get your bullets back over and over again. It's very fun. Golden Gun, very IP defining super. It's been around since the dawn of time, since the dawn of destiny. So, it's very fun to just run around with this thing. Anyway, after that, we are going to go with Marksman's Dodge. This thing has also received a very substantial change where it now reloads all of your weapons, not just the one you have out. Plus, it also collects any nearby ammo that is down on the ground. As you can see here, if I spend a little bit of my mint and I dodge near this special brick, it'll pick it up, which is pretty cool. And if you combine this change with Powerful Attraction, you are now going to collect all the orbs and ammo that are near you, which is pretty nice. So very nice change, worth using here. Taking this over Gambler's Dodge because our melee is terribly important for this build. As you'll see, it's more of a weapon focus that we're going with today. Aspects wise, the first one we want is Knock 'em Down. This one is going to make it so your solar supers are enhanced, and it's going to give the classic knife trick interaction. So essentially, you guys are probably already accustomed to this by now, but if you get a kill with your knives, it'll just refund them right back to you because it makes you radiant, especially if you have Ember of Torches. We'll get into the fragments in a second, but if you have Ember of Torches and Knock 'em Down, you're never going to run out of your knives. You can just keep using this over and over again. Classic Solar Hunter loop. However, the other thing, if I make these enemies hostile and I pop my super, having this aspect equipped is going to give me 15% damage resistance when I'm in my Deadshot Golden Gun. It's not a lot, 15%. However, it is better than nothing, and it might save you in certain situations, which is pretty nice. So first of all, Knock 'em Down. Then the most important aspect, which is On Your Mark. This aspect has been changed a lot recently, so let's just go through it so I can fully explain it to you. So first of all, activating your class ability or landing precision hits grants you and nearby allies increased reload speed and weapon stat for a short duration, stacks 10 times. Final blows while at 10 stacks cure you. So now, not only does it provide you with bonus stats for your weapons, it does it for your actual, character stats as well, and it helps your teammates, and it heals you, which it didn't used to do, which is pretty nice. So it's like a sustain aspect now as well. So let me show you how this works. So dodging is going to give me 1 stack of On Your Mark, and then if I get precision hits, it's going to give me more stacks. In fact, a burst from a heavy burst hand cannon is going to give me 3. So if I carry on and I get all the way up to 10 stacks, there we are at 9. Now we're at 10. So when I'm at 10 stacks, every single kill is now going to cure me. So if I damage myself a little bit here, then I kill this guy, got some health back, and then some more health back from this guy. And there is no cooldown on this. You can just keep, you know, getting healed as long as there are kills to be had. So if I damage myself again, I'll just show you one more time. I kill this guy, he's going to give me some cure, which is nice. And it doesn't actually show it on your screen, but I have plus 50 weapon stat now. And if I have 130 base, that puts me at 180. Which is pretty nice. So this is going to be, you know, spawning enhanced bricks of ammo, as you can see here. Very high weapon stat. Each stat gives 5 weapons, and at 10, it gives you 50. And yeah, I just have better stats, better ammo gen capabilities. I have constant healing now, and weapon kills are not the only thing that can refresh this. Ability kills refresh it as well. Kills from anything. It is literally exactly like Devour, where as long as you have the effect on your screen, any kill from any source, could be like a raid relic or something, it will still refresh the timer all the way up to the top, and you will basically just never lose it, which is pretty nice. So a big reason why we are using a double fire hand cannon and lucky pants with this build is because it is so easy to get us up to that maximum stack of on your mark. As you can see here, if you just look at the left of my screen and I just shoot this guy here, already at times 10, and all it took was like 4 bursts from the gun, which is really easy to trigger. And then, you know, obviously if I get kills with this, it's just gonna allow me to refresh it over and over. So if there are enemies around that have easy to hit crits, just use your hand cannon as your main source of getting to the maximum stack of on your mark, and then you are basically just good to go. And that is where Lucky Pants comes in, because anyone who's used Lucky Pants recently has known that it's just a very solid exotic, especially with Agape or any new double fire hand cannon. It's just very good for getting the damage up of your hand cannons and just providing you with some really nice burst damage against major combatants. Again, as you can see here, versus this unstoppable champion, we do have unstoppable hand cannon this season, so if I use this, it's going to be very easy for me to quickly dispatch this champion here. So it's very good for burst damage, just a nice exotic to have in your back pocket in general play. So I think it fits quite nicely into this build because of the synergies it has with everything. So I'll go back to our weapon choices in just a moment, but we're just going to wrap up with our fragments now. The first one we have is Ember of Torches. This is to secure the interaction with Knock 'em Down so that your melees make you radiant when you score hits with them. Then after that, we are taking Ember of Combustion, which will make it so final blows with our solar supers cause targets to ignite. Again, no cooldown on this, so any kill that you get with Golden Gun is just going to be way more explosive. It's going to cause ignitions, which is really nice. After that, I have Ember of Searing. Defeating scorched targets grants melee energy and creates a fire sprite. This is just for a little bit of extra grenade energy whenever collecting the fire sprites. Essentially, these fragments don't really matter too much for this build. It's just more to get stats, because the majority of the strength just comes from on your mark and the super itself, plus the hand cannon, weapon choice, whatever. So you can kind of mess with these yourself if you're not happy with these selections I've got for you here. After that, we have Ember of Ashes to make you apply more scorch stacks to targets, which is going to affect our knife trick, will allow us to get ignitions more consistently with it. Then finally, Ember of Char to make it so your solar ignitions spread scorch to affected targets. So if there are enemies alive after the ignition from our super kills, it'll just spread scorch to them, make it easier to clean them up afterwards, which is pretty nice. And again, this fragment gives plus 10 grenade to get us to our current stat total. Now, speaking of stats, I did want to go over this next, because on your mark gives us plus 50 weapon stats. We can invest less into our weapon stats and then put more into the rest of our stats. Now, the stats that I've created for this build are very specialized and for a good reason. My attitude with this is essentially using Mint Retrograde as our primary weapon. And the reason we're able to do that is because of our weapon stat. Now, I have 130 base. If you take this 130 and you stack up on your mark all the way to times 10, which is going to give us plus 50, that puts us up to 180. Then the remaining 20 can come from a weapons font on our boots, putting us all the way up to 200. And if you weren't aware, when you are at 200 weapon stat, every single ammo brick that you create will be double sized for special ammo. So we can essentially use our Mint Retrograde as our ammo generation weapon, combined with 200 weapon stat, which we get from our abilities and fonts. We're going to be making ammo very quickly, and it's going to be essentially self-sustaining. So that is priority number one with stats. Get 130 weapons exactly, so that you can then supplement it with abilities and mods. After that, I've also gone for 150 super, because with 150 super, my Golden Gun is going to be doing 22.5% more damage. So it's just going to be a lot easier to kill enemies with, or chunkier enemies with, because Deadshot Golden Gun on its own doesn't deal too much damage. It's more based around killing red bars or cleaning up. Not very good against major targets, especially because it can't crit. Then for the rest of your stats, it's basically personal preference. I've just gone for a sort of good middle ground, 50 grenade, 60 melee, 80 class, so that I can get my class ability back, you know, relatively fast. But essentially the two main stats that you want to worry about are weapons and super. So get 130 weapons and then as much into super as you want, then split the stats to your preference or to your liking afterwards. In terms of the archetypes that I've used for my stats, my helmet is a specialist with a tertiary stat in super. My gauntlets are gunner with a tertiary stat in super. My chest piece is another specialist with a tertiary stat in super. My lucky pants are gunner with a tertiary stat in super. Then finally, my cloak is a paragon with a tertiary stat in weapons. Also, can I just say that I really like the changes that Bungie have made to On Your Mark where they grant you stats. Now, I think they are starting to experiment more with, you know, abilities and mods granting you increased stats, which I personally think is a pretty nice way of getting the stat system involved with gameplay. So, you know, my seal of approval, just wanted to make that known. But anyway, moving on, the weapon choice in Mint Retrograde is very important, and how we build it is also very important if we want to make it our primary weapon, as in just the main thing that we are getting kills with, like you are seeing in the gameplay throughout the video. So a couple things are important. You are going to want one with Envious Arsenal. The reason why is because this perk, when enhanced, gives you plus 20 to your ammo generation stat. So at base, this will be like 36 or 26. So we're gonna get 20 from Envious Arsenal, which is pretty nice. Then Master of Arms, because this is a pretty good perk for ad clear. You could go like one for all or something, but I like Master of Arms, so definitely go for Envious Arsenal, Master of Arms. Then for the mod, you're gonna want Abundant Ammo because this gives you plus 10 to your ammo generation stat. So if you have both of these combined, you should get to around 56 ammo gen, which is a good place to be for this weapon. Then on the chest piece, you're gonna want a Strand ammo generation, which is again gonna give another plus 20. So effectively, we have a Mint Retrograde with a 76 ammo generation stat, which is pretty solid. Combine that with some special ammo finders, and you're gonna be making plenty of ammo with this thing. Even though you are absolutely ripping through your ammo, you're still gonna be getting it back very consistently. After that, like you've already seen, we have a heavy burst hand cannon in our back pocket, which is going to be Agape in this case with Rewind Precision Instrument. This is just going to pair very nicely with Lucky Pants. You could go for a backup mag mod on this, or you could go for Temporal Blast. Rewind rounds is obviously going to help with making the magazine size large enough for you to make the most out of Lucky Pants, which is pretty nice. And like I mentioned earlier, Agape with Lucky Pants is a very good way of stacking On Your Mark all the way to the maximum amount. Now, as far as your armor set bonuses are concerned, obviously you want to go for the 2-piece ion adapter, because this is going to make it so kills with your rocket pulse are going to provide you a 15% splash damage resistance, which is pretty nice. And given that we are using it as our primary weapon, it is going to be active all the time. It is refreshable, as you will probably be seeing in the gameplay. I'm getting nothing but kills with Mint Retrograde, but you could also go for something like Bushido to get a little bit more healing, because, you know, Solar Hunter doesn't have much damage resist going for it, but set bonuses are kind of non-essential at this point in the game's life cycle. So if you don't have this, don't stress about it. Now for the artifact, there are a few important mods. We are going to start with Fever and Chill in column 3. This one is going to make it so rapid precision hits with solar weapons grant Radiant, and rapid precision hits with stasis weapons grant Frost Armor, but that part doesn't matter. Now I believe it should take about 3 bursts with the hand cannon to get you Radiant, so go 1, 2, 3. And there we are. We've got 10 seconds of Radiant with our burst hand cannon. And that is refreshable, by the way, just like On Your Mark. So if I get 3 more bursts again, so I'll go 1, 2, oh, hold on a minute. So I go 1, 2, 3. And we're Radiant again. And if I let it fall off for just a few seconds, we'll go 1, 2, 3. Now we're back up to 10 seconds. It's refreshable. So if you want Radiant, you can also get it from your knives, but it's also available from your weapons. Very nice mod to have. After that, we have Refresh Threads, where picking up an elemental pickup matching your subclass will give you a little bit of ability energy to your least charge ability, which could be your dodge or your healing grenade. Doesn't matter, just a nice artifact perk to have on the side. Then we have Elemental Daze to make it so stunning a champion with an elemental weapon creates an elementally aligned explosion, which will help with just a little bit of extra damage over time. After that, Elemental Coalescence, where defeating targets has a chance to create fire sprites. Energy Acceleration, so sustained fire with micro missiles will cause a combatant to emit a kinetic shockwave, which is going to apply to both our Mint Retrograde and actually the exhaustive research trait from our hand cannon as well. Then finally, in column 5, we are just taking Radiant Shrapnel to make it so dealing sustained weapon damage while radiant or defeating a scorched combatant with a weapon causes the target to release solar projectiles that deal damage and scorch on impact. So that about does it for our our overall build makeup, so let's just wrap up with the armor mods now. So on the helmet, we are taking 1 copy of Special Ammo Finder to make it so we get increased progress to our Special Ammo meter when getting kills with Min Retrograde. Then we have 1 Strand Siphon and 1 Solar Siphon to make orbs with both of our weapons. Then for the gloves, we have Heavy-Handed so that knife kills create orbs, a Strand Loader to make Min Retrograde feel a little bit nicer, then Impact Induction to make it so causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces our grenade cooldown. Chest piece, general resist mods, and then like we mentioned earlier, a single strand ammo generation, or you go multiple if you liked, if you are feeling a little bit risky, just to increase the ammo gen stat of our Min Retrograde. Boots, we have 1 stacks on stacks so that every orb we create gives 2 armor charges, then a weapons font to get us to 200 like the calculation I explained to you earlier, then a strand scavenger to get even more ammo from the bricks we create with Min Retrograde. Finally, for the class item, we have time dilation to improve the length of our fonts, powerful attraction to collect the orbs near us, and then Reaper to create more orbs. Now, as far as the optimal gameplay loop is concerned for this build, it is literally just use your Lucky Pants hand cannon to stack up stacks of on your mark all the way to ×10. Then after that, just go to town with Min Retrograde, kill everything with the rocket pulse, and then with the ammo that you make from that, you should be able to infinitely sustain yourself and just keep on going. Whenever you encounter major targets like champions or bosses, be sure to use Lucky Pants once again to deal with them quickly, or you can continue with Min Retrograde, but it's not very ammo efficient. You know, the hand cannon has infinite ammo, so you might as well use and abuse that fact. Lucky Pants is just there for the major targets, and then, you know, just continue going on. It's a very fun build, dare I say. Variety is something that hunters desperately need, and I hope this has provided you with something to look forward to playing in your next play session. If you wanted to spice up your daily power grind or whatever you find yourself playing, then definitely give this a try, as it's really solid fun and very enjoyable, at least to me. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed the build, and with that, we have come to the end of the video. Before I go, here is the fashion if you wanted to copy it. This is just the classic Super Black Hunter. I think it looks pretty cool. And as always, the dim links will be in the description for you to copy the build hassle-free. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye for now, dear viewer.